Hi, I'm Danna Hollander, and I'm excited to get to do this presentation for you today. I've been in educational publishing and technology for nearly 20 years, and I absolutely love the business, the industry, the community. It's a terrific thing to be involved in. And I've always been excited and driven about what education can do for an individual. I was so excited about it and wanted to continue to be excited that I went back to school to get a master's in education. The coursework was actually online learning, adult learning, and 21st century learning. And it really just re-energized me for what was happening in our industry and in our business. And I came away with lots of new tools and just appreciation for what's happening. You're going to find in your email inbox a link to a survey, and I'd love it if you take that survey for me. There's a couple of opportunities in there for you to give me some feedback and give me some ideas that I can share. When you see my presentation, you'll know why. So, as teachers and educators and sharers of information, that's how we learn. We learn from each other, and we take ideas and modify those and share those with other people. So I'm hoping you'll be able to do that for me as well. So as we think about my presentation today, I'm going to talk to you about engagement. So engagement. Engagement isn't like an engagement ring. I suppose it can be, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. Engagement is about that light bulb going off. And I'd like to know how many of you have had that opportunity to be there at that moment when something's changed for someone. I was really fortunate. That happened for me, and it happened with my daughter. My daughter wanted to be a college basketball player, and it happened in basketball. So a few years ago, when she was between 6th and 7th grade, we were playing in a basketball tournament at a local college. So the game was at 7 in the morning on a weekday, work day, and all of us parents had to figure out how to get our kids there, watch the game, that whole thing. It was pretty stressful because it was rush hour traffic. But we all made it, and when we got there, we learned we had to wait and wait for our time to take the court because the women's basketball team was still practicing. The women's team from that college was still practicing. And as we all waited, all of the girls kind of stood together and talked except for my daughter. My daughter stood over by the court by herself where she could hear the coach, hear the players interacting, and she watched and listened like I've never seen her do before. And I could tell at that moment something was changing for her. So after the game, we talked for a couple minutes. I asked her what she thought, and I said, boy, a college basketball player, if that's what you want to be, that's going to take a lot of hard work. And it's a lot of early mornings. Do you think you can get up to go to a 5 a.m. practice? And she quickly dismissed me, as she sometimes did at that time in her life, and said, "This is what I'm going to do. It's not a problem at all." So as I fast forward to 2015, she's going to be a junior next year in college, and she's a Division II college basketball player. And she worked very hard to get where she is. And a lot of what happened to her in high school and in her learning experience is a big part because of you as a teacher. If you had classes that were rigorous, taught her lots of ways of succeeding, you're a part of her success, and I want to thank you for that. So let's talk a little bit about what it takes and what it means to be a basketball player at my daughter's school and what that looks like. My daughter's classroom at school, her basketball classroom, is not much different than any other classroom, whether that be a corporate classroom, an elementary classroom, middle school, or high school. It's changed. It's fast-paced. It's competitive. It's interactive. It's exciting. It's always moving and changing. All of those things. We can all identify with that. And collaboration, competitiveness, technology have all changed how we learn, teach, engage, compete, and achieve. It's a part of life now. So let's, excuse me, so let's spend a few minutes learning about what it means to be a player at my daughter's school. So Erin's school and her team, they're full of high achievers, both in the classroom and on the basketball court. They all work really hard and they're really good. One of the things, though, that happens over the course of a long season, their season's about 5 months long, and they travel a lot, is that that engagement can start to fade sometimes. It can fade in the classroom or it can fade on the basketball court. It can be affected by how much playtime they have or how successful they're being. So that all happens in their world. If they're traveling 6 hours to a game, which is probably the minimum that they travel, and there's snowy roads, they're gone for 8 hours. They leave at 10 p.m. after a game on Saturday night, and they get home at 6 in the morning. So it's a lot of work, and they have to be very dedicated and very structured and work very hard to get everything done in their day. So as we think about some of the rigors of Common Core and what that's done for teaching and learning, it's really helped these kinds of student athletes achieve. So let's talk a little bit about technology and what technology has done for these student athletes and her team. So technology we know is fun. I play games on my computer all the time. I use it for learning. I use it for all kinds of things. And I'm going to show you a quick little iPad app here in a second. So we know that technology should be used strategically, and if we're going to meet the demands of Common Core, that's what it needs to do. This is a terrific program that Erin's team uses. Her high school team uses this as well, this app. And it's a shot app. So it tracks shots and what goes on in the game. So these are all the players. Hold it up a little higher along the sides here. And they change color as you hit them. So if we have Gabby, number 20, taking a shot from out here and she misses, it puts her number right there. So you can get really terrific stats on what's happening in a game. And you can learn about, who's making shots in what area, who's not, and you can develop plays based on what's happening, what you see in those stats that that program helps you identify. So that's one wonderful piece of technology that's used. Another one is Wi-Fi on the bus. So I would have never thought this, but Wi-Fi is available on the bus when they travel to and from games. So they're encouraged to buy ebooks with online homework programs so that they can do that homework while they're traveling. And if they've got a longer trip, they're able to do quite a bit of the work on their iPads and on their computers on the bus. So that's another piece. So again, I want to remind you, if you'll fill out that survey and give me any other ideas, I'd love to be able to share those as well. Another thing I want to show you real quickly is a suggestion I'm going to have for Erin's coach is using Instagram. So I'm going to hold up an Instagram page here for you. You can see this is a group. I think it's a sales team. And from what I understand, the leader of this team has a hashtag for the group. And then every week they have a theme that they post pictures to. So sometimes the group's together, sometimes they're working on their own, sometimes they're on a trip by themselves or with other people, customers and things. They can post pictures of whatever that theme is to Instagram. And it's a fun way of keeping engaged and excited and using a piece of technology to drive home a point. So this is a good idea. So again, remember, fill out the survey. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about is collaboration. So we know collaboration is a part of 21st century learning. It's a part of what everyone does, whether you're in a college classroom, middle school, high school, elementary, or a corporate environment. And everyone collaborates and works together for common goals. Smartphones are used all the time now by the girls. They take little videos. They have apps and feeds that come in called TeamStream. And if I were maybe a coach, I would have them write something in their playbook journal about some of the things that are coming in on TeamStream. But that's a program that gives stats, national stats of sports, so they can use that. So that's another thing that happens in that collaboration. So one thing I want to talk to you about that's a really important piece of this collaboration point is what happens with game film. Really important. During their game film, they all watch together and they have a playbook. Looks kind of like this. I'll give you a little more information on this in a second. But they write in their playbook, in the journaling area, some of the things they're seeing in the film. So they're asked to analyze what's happening, write about it, And we know as they do that, they're really learning more, and they're really moving up Bloom's taxonomy by writing and analyzing what's happening in the game film and using their journal for that. Back to the notebook again. So this is Erin's playbook from middle school, and she had a coach in middle school that was a corporate trainer, so he made a really nice book for everybody. It was personalized, put quotes, there's a place for papers and things like that, and journaling. So they started this off a little young. But playbook and playbook review has an opportunity for them to work on close reading strategies. So they read their plays, and then they have an opportunity to reread for maybe what's happening off ball. Do some highlighting of that, of what's happening in off ball movement, or what's happening to the other team. What are they doing when they do plays? Would be doing plays out of the book. So it's really an opportunity to use those pieces of writing and skills they learned from high school by having more rigorous writing activities, more informational texts, more nonfiction, and being able to apply that now at a college level. And that's really terrific to see. So again, another terrific part of what UF teachers have done to prepare them as good student athletes and people that are able to handle the rigors of what's happening on a basketball team. So again, thank you for taking time to watch my video, to learn a little bit about me, to learn a little bit about the things that I'm passionate about. I love my daughter's basketball team and basketball and learning and engagement. And I'm excited about what can happen in the classroom going forward. So thank you again. Don't forget to fill out the survey, and go Yellow Jackets.